All right.
Okay, so let's go around the table and everyone can introduce the character they have. And just go ahead and give the name and the character concept for the sake of the recording. So we'll start here.
My name is Kier, the soft-spoken healer. I'm a little more than a boy, small in stature, big in heart.
All right.
I am playing Fiona, aka Zig, who is one of 2 telepath twins. I am incredibly hyperactive, and we've shared a rare talent since childhood, a form of telepathy through which we can communicate over almost any distance.
It's been successful in driving you both mostly insane because you can't get out of each other's heads. Everything one thinks is just automatically in the other's head.
And I'm just very energetic and constantly bobbing.
You often forget who is who.
Ooh,
And I am playing the other one of the twins, Fergus, aka Zag, whereas my twin Zig is extremely hyperactive. I am so quiet and brooding that people often forget I'm even present.
Oh my. I'm playing Nima, a warrior scholar, a bit of a know-it-all, even though I do seem to know it all. Whenever a specific skill or arcane piece of knowledge is needed, I usually have it. I'm also quite sarcastic. Yeah, I have a gruff exterior, but that hides a solid and dependable knight.
I am Tonio, the charming swordsman. Tonio is a slim youngster with bright eyes, short black hair, and a mischievous streak. He is the clown of the cohort, and though he is not usually the cause of trouble, he is always right in there with whoever it is.
We're gonna be friends.
I am Walid. I am an elementalist, and you should know who I am.
Because you are.
Walid.
I'm Wink. I am an impulsive teleporter who is quiet and often shy, so that's what we're going to say.
Nice.
That is going to be a fun table. All right, so go ahead and flip the characters over.
Okay.
And the only kind of setup you need to do is you need to go through your card deck and you need to sort out one of the suits. And that suit needs to be your affinity. So if you look down, I'll give you a quick tour of the character sheet. Yes. You have attributes divided into 3 kinds down the left side. Sure. Abilities, things you're just inherently good at. Skills, things you've trained up. And potentials are your supernatural elemental abilities. If you're making characters on your own from scratch to play the game, you actually write up these attributes like the aspects in Fate.
Okay.
So you build the character's concept in the writing of these attributes, but then you use them in any way that you can stretch them over the narrative and convince me that they apply.
Okay.
But if you look at your potential, it should give you an affinity, and there should be a little circle around one of the card suits. You need to separate that suit out, and it represents your potential deck. So you'll end up with 2 decks, a play deck and your potential deck.
Okay.
And when you sort your cards, you need to take one of your jokers and just set it aside. It's not used in the game. The other joker, however, stays in your play deck and is part of the game.
Okay.
But I'm sorry, so we sort it out to any given suit, or
whatever your suit is on your character.
on potential, so spades, great.
Yeah. So take all your spades out, and then everything else goes into a pile. Then you shuffle both decks.
Yours is clovers.
You'll notice around the perimeter of the character sheet, there's a sort of a map where you can put your different decks to help you keep track of what you're looking at. Because you're going to end up with a play deck and a play discard pile, a potential deck, and a potential discard pile. And then
keep the joker?
One joker.
One joker.
If your deck has 2 jokers, just set one of them aside for good.
Mine just has an extra card, I think.
Cards are being printed with 56 cards now, and sometimes there's rules on them, sometimes it's
weird.
Whatever that is.
And does it matter? Let's see. The aces are just normal cards in this?
Yep.
Okay.
Did you have 2 jokers?
Yes.
I think I just got one.
Alright, I am curious about the cards. I'm wondering about these now.
And the Joker goes in the play deck.
One joker goes in the play deck, and then you shuffle both decks. And like I said, you can use the perimeter of your character sheet to help you keep track of which cards are which. Because not only you have a play deck and a play discard pile, and a potential deck and a potential discard pile, but you can have a play hand and a potential hand.
I got you.
So the joker that we keep in, does that go in our
Goes in the big deck, the play deck.
big deck? Okay, cool. Cool.
Should we call each other by actual names?
Oh, yeah, that's an important thing. I think, yeah, we call each other by our actual names, but everybody else is Zig and Zag, yeah, so I'm Fiona.
I would imagine most of the time you probably don't even need to call each other anything because you already know what the other one thinks.
I have a floppy black hat.
You have a floppy black hat?
I do.
That's cool.
So there's an interesting setting piece. You're recruited into the Explorers Guild by a variety of means, and they usually take only the very best and the most powerful elementalists when they're very young. One of those ways, and it's one of the rarest, is called special selection. You may not qualify on other metrics, but you have some special something that they really want in the guild.
Such as Zig and Zag?
You two were picked by special selection. Your psych profile would be a little off, that they probably wouldn't normally take you. But there is no sort of wireless communication, and so you guys are extremely valuable to the guild as a phenomenon.
Great.
Getting in on a technicality.
It's a very limp high five.
All right, so you're going to want to separate out a play hand, which will give you 6 cards from your big deck, and a potential hand.
Can we look at these?
4 cards from the potential deck.
Are these face up?
You can look at them. You don't necessarily want to share them with me, and there are times when you can't share them with your peers.
4 cards from the potential deck?
Yeah. And those are referred to as your play hand and your potential hand. I realize there's lots of little decks to keep track of.
I like it.
And if this spot goes unused, we could probably give you guys a little
Spread out.
room here.
Okay. I think.
All right, so I think that's all the mechanics I want to deal with until we actually need to play. So let's get into the game.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to hand these out. And what I like to do is go around the table. We'll start randomly here. And just take turns reading paragraphs until we run out of paragraphs. So loud and proud, go ahead and read the first paragraph.
Your boat crew is to take over as the command staff at Downstone Gulf, a small guild outpost just over the border into the Twilight Frontier. The current cadre is being rotated home, and even though you are the only interim relief, you are honored but a little surprised to be given such responsibility. Though not fresh from the academy, you are hardly ranking knights after all.
Garrisoning a fort on the frontier is a tough assignment either way you look at it. One part boring, tedious, and one part anxious. Vigilance and the job is a draining clock-to-clock routine punctuated by sudden crisis or military assaults. The children of the dark are a constant and immediate threat for which the garrison must always stand ready.
Your orders instruct you to take command of the EGS Reliable, and before diving for the frontier, you are to sail for Cliffside, the capital of Horizon. There you are to take aboard a complement of freshly trained liegemen, as Downstone is undermanned and in urgent need of new personnel. The journey is severe as a sort of shakedown cruise for recruits who, due to their
Exegesis of the Service. It's a quote from Master Commander, if you know those books at all.
Exegesis of Service did not receive their full course of shipboard training before being posted to the fort.
The journey should take no more than 10 clocks, but if the wind and weather prove fair, you could make the voyage in as few as 8. The numerous tumbledowns in the region make navigation hazardous, and so you were advised to proceed with doubled watches. The latest dispatches report no recent child encounters in the area, but you are cautioned to remain alert as they are known to hunt the skies around the fort.
Upon arrival at Downstone, you are to officially relieve the current cadre, surrender the EGS Reliable to their service, and assume command duties at the fort. Straightforward orders for a straightforward mission. Simple enough.
But then again, when was any voyage into the Twilight Frontier ever simple?
All right, so there's the setup.
Okay.
The Twilight Frontier is sort of the place of legend. If you've got this limitless sky and it's full of highlands that are floating everywhere, and you've got clouds and squalls and fog banks and such. The farther down you go, you can imagine the darker and darker it gets. And eventually it gets to be twilight.
Yeah.
And hence that's the Twilight Frontier, because not much beyond that it gets completely dark.
Okay.
All of the remnants of the Masters of the Wind, the long lost civilization of high science that precedes this current era, have been scavenged thoroughly in the Kingdoms of the Light. So now they've been hunting the Explorer Knights, of which you are members, have been hunting through the Twilight Frontier looking for more of this technology, a technology that drives essentially the economy and the technological advancement of the kin, the people of the kingdoms.
Yeah.
In the dark, however, are children of the dark, and they too have been scavenging technology, and they are now also scavenging from the no man's land that is represented by the Twilight Frontier.
Okay.
So going into the frontier, exploring it, charting it, salvaging lost technology is one of the primary duties of the Explorer Knights. Also defending that frontier against invasion by the Children of the Dark, another priority. So Fort Downstone, the fort at Downstone Gulf is one part of something called the Bastion, a long line of fortresses that are garrisoned by the kingdoms as well as different vessels from the guild. All right. So we'll do a little tutorial here on how the game works by playing the game.
Excellent.
Cool. First impressions. Every guild vessel has a captain, and when there are no knights aboard, that role is served by the ship's master. Generally, the master and crew have been together for some time and have established a working relationship. More often than not, that delicate ecology can be upset when unknown and unproven knights take command. As a result, crews often view such changes in command with something between apprehension and resentment. The crew of the EGS Reliable is no different, and as you come aboard, they glance curiously from the neat rows where they stand awaiting your inspection. How do you make sure your first impressions are good ones, and assure that if the time comes, the crew will follow your orders without hesitation? So here's the scene. You're walking down the dock. There at the end of the pier is the Reliable. She's a small ship, but she's got nice lines and she looks fast. Her small crew is standing ready for inspection on the deck, and the master is looking nervously at you as you approach the gangplank. Each of you has your kit over your shoulder. You've got your knight's blade hanging at your side. You've got the swagger and nonchalance of a band of knights who are essentially and quite literally masters of all they survey in terms of ability and potential power. So how do you board this ship? Convince the liegemen, the crew that are part of the guild but not knights, that they can rely on you and trust you, even though in this particular case they've never met you.
Are we officers?
Yes, in terms of formal relationship, the guild itself is pretty flat. There are ranks. You are all roughly equivalent in rank. If you look at your character sheets, you'll see blazes. Those are achievements that you've made, actually marks that have been tattooed into your flesh, denoting really successful, important missions that you have succeeded in for the guild. The more of those you have, the more rank you have. But ultimately, you're a knight until you become a captain, and then a high captain, or a sky captain, then a high captain. So it's a pretty flat hierarchy.
Okay.
So are we higher than the people currently?
Yes. As soon as any knight steps on board a liege vessel, a guild vessel, they become the de facto captain.
Gotcha.
In terms of gameplay and in a meta sense, the intention behind designing the game, nobody likes to be bossed around by other players at the table. So you guys are peer leadership, and you've worked so well together as a boat crew through all of your training that you got a pretty good idea of what each of you is capable of.
Okay.
So you default to the guy that's strong when you need a strong guy, and you default to the guy that's tactical when you need a tactical guy, and so forth.
All right. I suppose approaching the ship, I'm going to tip my head to Tonio and motion for him to go lay it onto the current captain of the ship to use your silver tongue, which I assume you have.
Yeah, right away, Nima. I pull my fancy red cloak about, tilt my floppy hat to a dapper angle, and I respectfully.
So not only charming, but rakish.
Yes, rakish. Yeah. I walk up to the
Ship's master.
The ship's
Yep.
master. Do I know the ship's master's name?
You have not. You do. You have not met him before, but your orders give you his name as well as those of most of your crew. It's Master Jenner. He's seconded by first mate, a woman by the name of Miss Clee. And there are various and sundry other people listed in your orders, but those are the two that are standing at the top of the gangway. Presumably.
Okay, I'm going to approach them and look them in the eye and say, the most respected and venerated Master Jenner and the legendary, what was the first mate's name?
Miss Clee.
Miss Clee. We are the exchange of troops needed for your fine vessel. Not that your fine vessel needs an exchange of troops. I'm sure it could operate quite well in the skies.
You're laying it on. That's good. You can see that he's trying to remain neutral as you come up the gangplank, but nobody wants to give up command of their vessel. Right. He's a very short man, very round man. He's got a weathered face, clearly spent most of his life in the sky. And you can just tell by the way the crew is looking at you that they trust him and are going to be keying in on what he does.
I have a question. I have trait research. Does that mean, could I use that to say, have come into this, having researched this?
You'll see how that works here in a minute.
Okay.
Yes, but sort of in a retroactive way.
Okay.
And you'll see how that works. We're gonna do a little tutorial for the table.
Okay.
So you're just laying it on, super thick, right?
Yeah.
So of your attributes,
Okay.
what do you feel most applies to what you're trying to do here?
Charming boy, probably.
Okay, so you're gonna use Charming Boy.
Yeah.
Now, the number next to Charming Boy is how many cards you can play.
Oh boy.
But they have to be of the matching suit.
Okay.
So what suit is designated there?
It is spades.
Okay, now if you only had one spade, you could only play one spade. But if you have three, because I think you have Charming Boy at 3, you can play up to 3.
Okay.
Now, here's how it works. I have a hand of cards too. And as we decide when to have an actual play, when something becomes interesting enough that you might consider rolling a die in another game. When failing it or creating consequences for it are interesting, then we make a play. If it's something that you obviously can do because your character sheet says you can do it, but it's not that interesting to fail, you can just assume you can do it. Okay. Other things too, these are just the things you're really good at. There's other things that you can do, and if they're mundane, we assume that you do them.
Okay.
You can also default. If you want to do something that is specific and technical, that doesn't really come from anything done on your character sheet, there are ways to default, and that's one of the ways that you add more to your character as you advance your character. So, enough of that. You are choosing Charming Boy. If you feel you've got enough good cards, that can be what you play. If you don't, and you have something else that can apply, and you have really good cards for it, you can kind of manipulate the circumstances or make your interaction with the encounter favor that attribute instead of Charming Boy. Now, I will always tell you before a play, is this a 1, 2, or a 3 card challenge? Do I feel, as the moderator and the arbitrator of the environment, is this an easy thing? So a 1, a more difficult thing, a 2, or a really difficult thing, a 3. That means how many cards I can play.
Oh, so you ask the players the difficulty of the situation.
Right.
Interesting.
And I still have to play in suit. But I have one hand, I can play any suit, but I have to play in suit.
Okay.
So if I say it's a 2-card play, which this is, because you're really laying it on thick, and you want the whole crew to trust you, not just this guy.
I'm motioning towards the crew too.
Right, for sure. So I think that's probably a 2, and that means I would play 2 cards, but they have to be in the same suit.
Okay.
Now, before we make the actual play, we negotiate outcomes, stakes that we're bidding for.
For sure.
Okay, so if you win, what do you want?
They let us on to their ship and they look upon us fondly.
Okay, letting you onto the ship is a given because you're knights, and it's a guild vessel. Hey, welcome.
A new player.
We've got a spot, and we have just started. That one? There you go.
Welcome to the table.
And the back gives descriptions of the characters, and I'm not sure who you got. What was the character you got?
The Gentle Giant.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
You got Bree. That's one of my favorite characters.
Bree's wonderful.
Okay, so we negotiate these stakes. Yes, you're going to get on the vessel. That's pretty easy. But the power of this game is it's not just you succeed or fail. It's what else do you get out of it? How interesting is it? How far do the ramifications go into the future? What kind of consequences follow you later in the story? So we need to really add to that. So what else do you want? Yeah, you're on the vessel. Yeah, the master likes you.
Yeah.
But the crew, you want the crew obviously to trust you.
I want to be friends with the crew. I want to add to my pool. It's everybody's afraid
want them to admire you.
So I want these people to like me.
Okay, so they'll crowd around you. They'll want to sit with you in the wardroom. They'll want to show you things. They'll want to talk to you about
Yeah,
your
exactly.
past. Okay.
I want to see their notebook.
So you want to be a member of the family just by walking on the deck.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going, if you succeed then, to sweeten the stakes for you, I'm going to give you a 1-card cash, and I'll explain what cashes are. It's a bonus card.
Okay.
That you can use anytime you need the crew to trust you.
Okay.
We'll do something special for you.
All right.
Okay? It's a 1-card story cash, which means once you've used it, it's gone.
Okay.
Now there are innate caches which renew, but this one will just be gone, right?
Gotcha.
You made a really good favorable impression.
Okay.
However, if you fail, if I win, then they're going to see right through the schmarmy charm, and they're going to think, not another one of those. They're going to be like, oh God, how long are they going to be with us?
They'll break my heart.
So the way I'm going to treat it is they're going to be surly for all of you. They're going to follow your orders slowly. They're going to do what they're supposed to do. They're going to walk that line of insubordination.
Right.
And at the worst possible time, they're going to question you.
Okay.
It might be an emergency situation, and they're going to question your orders. So that would give me a 1-card challenge cache that I can use if I think it's appropriate to the moment of the story.
The audience loved that.
Good feedback.
All right, so you picked your 3 cards.
They all have to be the same suit,
You have to
right?
be the same suit, the suit that matches whatever attribute you're
Can
using.
you play from potential and play hand?
No, you can only play from a single attribute at a time. You can narratively say, I'm going to include a little bit of this other thing I can do.
Okay.
But mechanically, it has to be from a single suit. So you usually pick what you're strongest at.
Okay.
Try to convince me that that's what you want to use.
Gotcha.
And then play that, right?
Gotcha.
Right.
Sometimes I may not agree. Sometimes you might have to convince me. But that's fun.
Yeah.
That's part of the meta fun of the game is trying to stretch these
Exactly.
Yeah.
over different situations. Caches represent bonus cards. The ones you have listed on your sheet are they are all caches that they're innate, so you get them once per session, and then you spent it and it's gone for the session.
Okay.
Okay.
You can use them in the situations that are listed.
Okay.
Your knight's cache can be used anytime. It's because you're a knight. You have such training and such confidence that you just get this little Benny, and you can use it in any situation you want to.
Okay.
You have to, however, have your knight's blade. When you graduate from the academy, everybody is gifted a knight's blade, custom forged for them.
Interesting.
If you do not have it, it's your only badge of rank. It's your only badge of uniform. It's the only proof that you're a knight. If you don't have it with you, the confidence goes too. So you don't have. So if someone takes it, you lose it. It gets stolen or broken. You lose your knight's cache until it's replaced.
I see. Okay.
There's one other use for that knight's cache. If your hand sucks, you can sacrifice your knight's cache for the session
To mulligan?
to redraw.
Okay.
Discard your hand and redraw.
Okay.
Your potential...
Either one,
Either
but
one.
only one.
So it's like I can use a cache for like a burn off to add an additional card.
Yes, and the way that works is you make your play, and then you add the cache from the top of your play deck.
Okay.
But you have to state it before making the play. After the number, you can't do it after.
It's not retro.
And the play deck is the one of my suit, right?
The play
That's
deck,
the potential deck.
That's the potential. Okay.
The potential
Gotcha.
deck is for just when you're doing supernatural things, and that's your potential at the bottom of the list.
I got you.
The play deck is for the other 2 kinds of attributes, skills, and abilities.
Well, this is an important decision. I'm representing our entire
Everyone.
crew.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my cache as a charmer.
There you go. So go ahead and make the play with the card. Let me figure out my play first.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of good cards, but we'll do this. It's 2-card play, like I said. So we both make our play together.
Okay.
And then you said you wanted to use your cash.
Yes,
so
I
you've
did.
got a 10. I've got an 11.
Oh,
so
boy.
there's no way for you to lose because aces are 10s. All face cards count as 10s numerically.
Okay.
Okay. So play your cash. All right, there you go. And the gap between the values that we both score is a way to kind of inform how well you did.
So he got like
skin of your teeth.
another 10? Is what, or what's the king count?
It's a 10.
It's a 10.
Wow.
So he passed quite
Yeah, I like,
really well.
I like
That's a
shake
big
his
gap.
hand. I like go around the crew shaking.
That's a higher than average.
Everyone likes
So I mean, they're smiling. They're like they don't know why they're smiling.
Antonio.
They're just like
Antonio, man.
you feel like you've been best friends. One of them's like, you come for Thanksgiving next year. You're like,
I've been invited
I'll
to at
bring the
least one
gravy.
wedding.
Miss Clee, she's skeptical, but you get a feeling that Miss Clee is skeptical about most things. She's got this big ledger, and she's been writing ever since you guys were inside of the ship. Like she'll look
Okay.
up and she'll make some notes, and she'll look down. Everything the captain says gets written down.
I'll make a note. Present for Christmas. New book.
So you all walk up on board the ship, and they make ready for sail. Orders are shouted. You are showed to your cramped, tiny little quarters. Orders are shouted. The ship is untied, pushed off from the dock. Some whistles are blown. There's an electric horn. The sails go out, and you begin slowly moving out of the harbor.
Wonderful. So the crew's going to be on our side. Antonio's side.
Yeah, Antonio's side, not me.
You're also, luckily, Antonio.
That's essentially all of the mechanics.
Okay.
There are some other things, like there's ways to get hurt. And there's a couple other things, like you look at the bottom of your sheet, there's something about crowning. But when that comes up, we'll talk about. Actually, I'll tell you about crowning now because it makes a difference in what cards you might play.
Okay.
If you have a jack, a king, queen, or an ace in your hand, and it's the right suit, and you want to play it, if you play it in the circumstances as described at the bottom of the sheet, you get to crown your play, which means you get to draw a random card from your play deck and add it to it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right? So if you're doing something nefarious and you can play a joker in that suit, then you can play an extra card. If you're doing something generous and noble and caring, and you can play a queen, then you can crown. It's a way to sort of have some tactical input to your bonuses based on how you want to role play that scene.
Okay.
So once you've spent your cards, you draw back up to your full 6-card hand. But if you spend potential cards, that comes back slower. Imagine you've got a battery of magic, and when you spend it, it takes a while to recharge. That's the only reason that the hands are separate. You can put them together if you can keep track of which suit charges slower, but it's just easier to keep track, right?
Makes sense.
So I draw two.
So you draw the cards that you spent, and you're good. And then you put the spent cards in your discard pile.
Okay. Cool. Wow. So elegant.
Yeah. What a charmer.
But nothing happened with your arm.
All right. So the ship is cast off. The sails are hoisted. The ships in Upwind are I'm a sailor. I love all things maritime and sailing. There's a very heavy thread of maritime lore through the game. These ships should look in your imaginations a little bit like the ships in Treasure Planet.
Yes.
But instead of vertical masts with big square sails, they're more like bird wings, right?
Okay.
Because there's a constant wind blowing up from the dark, both a magical component to that wind and a physical component. And so the bird wing-like sails are what give power to the forward and backward motion of the ships. They're held aloft by things called induction hulls. It's a device that taps the magical part of the wind and gives buoyancy to the vessels.
Okay.
So the sails are for moving them, the induction hull is for just holding them up. Right?
Okay.
So they put the sails out and the ship turns like a big eagle and just sort of starts to drift out of the harbor. It's Highstone Harbor, one of the busiest harbors in the kingdoms. There's ships everywhere, boats everywhere. As you stand at the deck, looking out over the railing, you can see the city of Highstone disappearing behind you in the haze. You look up on this lonely gray bluff and you see the squat gray buildings of the Explorer Knights Academy, where you spent 3 cycles, equivalent of 9 years of your young lives, recruited as probably 8 or 9-year-olds, maybe 10-year-olds, to come and train. You're the equivalent of probably 18, 19, 20-year-olds now. But you essentially, everything formative in your experience happened at that academy.
Okay.
And so as a conceit of the game, it's not required by the rules, but it's suggested that near the beginning of every session, there's a flashback to your time at the academy.
Like a vignette?
A little vignette, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
That does a couple of things. One, it helps to sort of flesh out your background together.
Okay.
But also to show how important the academy was to your life, and to foreshadow kind of what's coming by potentially giving you some caches.
See it?
This is free. 14.
Potentially give you some caches that you can use later in the story as relevant to the foreshadowing. So,
And then
scuffling in the dark. As the Reliable sails out of the harbor and sets a downward course for Horizon, you watch Highstone recede behind you. The gray stone campus of the Academy, a prominent landmark on the cliff overlooking the sky. As you stare at the rock of the cliff face, you are reminded of your close order assault practical, and the old injury aches in sympathy with the memory. You are in the Warrens, the seemingly endless maze of subterranean passages and chambers that riddle the bedrock under Highstone and the Academy. The darkness is total, and all you can hear is the strained breathing of your boat crew as you wait for the signal for the war game to commence. A pistol shot rings out, and you head for the objective. How many of you have read the book Ender's Game?
Oh, yeah.
This is the battle room. The island of Verdant, the capital city of Highstone, one of the sort of master's leftovers from the downfall of this long ago apocalypse is this sort of random, uncharted warren of tunnels and chambers that riddle the island.
Okay.
The part that's under the academy has long ago been co-opted for storage and classrooms and training areas, and in this case, a large kind of irregularly shaped cavern where they do all kinds of things like this. Now, you know, in the middle of the cavern is a small sort of cobbled together fortification. It's got blocks of stone and concrete pillars, and occupying it are some older students, some journeymen. You are young apprentices, and they're looking for a good chance to knock you around a little bit, and you're looking for a good chance to knock them around a little bit. But here's a catch. All the other boat crews from your cohort are looking for the same thing. So it's a little bit like King of the Hill. Domination, like in Halo.
Yeah.
The first boat crew to occupy the fortress, oust the current journeyman, and defend it from the rest of the cohort, wins the exercise and the cash that goes with it. The bonus card, not the money.
Oh, dang.
So here's the trick, though. There's no light. They've extinguished all of the electronic arc lamps and started the game in the dark. So, first thing you have to figure out is how to get there, because you can hear everyone starting to run and yell, but there's obstacles everywhere between you and there. There's concrete blocks, there are wooden obstacles, there's all kinds of things that make this an interesting sort of war game training ground, right? So you have to get there, and you have to do there without getting beaten by one of your other teams. Everyone's tactics are different. Maybe they're going to go after some of the other boat crews. Maybe they're going to make a direct assault. Maybe they're going to wait till people soften up the journeymen before they come in behind. It's up to you guys as a well-oiled team to figure out how you want to do this. And we'll do a special kind of play called a collective play that lets everyone play in the same moment. Okay. But first thing you got to do is figure out how you're going to see anything, because it's pitch black. Right now,
my fellows, I can play with fire.
Yeah. Can you generate fire?
Can I?
Well, play with fire to me sounds like you should be able to generate fire.
All right.
I can generate fire.
That works both ways.
If you can see, so can somebody else.
Yes.
Generally, fire can be seen from a farther distance than we can see.
Interesting. So maybe we should have Tonya move away from the rest of the group some before
Wait,
using
I have heard it on the wind. Would I be able to perhaps locate an enemy group using Heard on the Wind?
Quite likely. So here's the thing. You can use potential narratively. You can use any of these things narratively.
Okay.
You just say, I'm going to do this thing because I'm good at it. And if I don't think, like, lighting up something with fire, that should just happen, because you're training to be super good at this, right?
Okay.
But because it's your magical abilities, there is a cost to it.
Okay.
So you have to randomly discard one of your potential cards when you narratively use potential.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Okay.
Because it's a limited resource that you need to manage.
I see. Okay.
Okay, so you take that deck, you just flan it out, and pull it out, and put it in your discard pile.
You got it.
All right. Well, all right. I would
you
like
do the same thing.
Yes, I would like to locate a nearby group that we could focus on first to take down.
Okay. Well, you know how like in the various superhero movies, Daredevil or Superman,
Yeah. A world on fire.
out of
That's it.
all this noise, they can just hear like one child crying under a,
Yes.
under a bus someplace. That kind of happens. You hear one of the boat crew organizers like telling his team what they're going to do, and they're starting to move across in front of you, and you know exactly where they are, at least in terms of what you can hear.
Okay.
Okay, building on what he did,
Okay.
I'm going to use mine. Always knows which way the wind blows.
Okay.
So I know where the currents are, the eddies are, so I can maneuver us through there and kind of feel around where the other ships are.
Okay.
Because they all move in waves.
Now, I was going to say, I don't really buy that because there's nothing.
Yeah.
You're underground,
Yeah.
but you're getting the wind off of everybody moving.
Correct.
Nice. Now, this is not a potential, so you don't need to spend any cards. You just assume that you're doing this kind of thing that you're good at, sensing the movement of other people.
He's
I like
hearing
it.
what's going
I like
on,
it.
I'm feeling what's going on,
Okay.
giving us direction.
So you're whispering to everybody, they're over there, they're moving across,
Yes.
there's like 6 or 8 of them. How do you want to do your light? Like a little dull glow that you can all see around you, or you want to shoot it out someplace like flares or other
Use it
people?
at range
Yeah.
and just pop it out to the side
As a distraction?
and just hold it there.
Oh,
I think that's a good idea.
Now remember, this game it can be as dramatic as you want it to be. You cannot break the balance, and that's one of the things I like about it.
Okay.
You can light up this entire cavern with flames.
I was gonna say it's like, how about
Can you make it so bright that it's blinding to everybody who doesn't have notice? Like we shield our eyes and then just boom.
that thing? Yeah, a little dazzle, little
Okay,
dazzle.
that's starting to sound like a play because that'll be interesting
Yeah.
if he fails because then maybe you guys
Then we catch on fire.
or something, right? So what we'll do now is we'll kind of give you a moment to figure out how you want to do this as a play. Where do you want to go with this group tactic, and then we'll do this collective play.
Yeah, I can light up this cabin if you guys want, or I can.
I have an idea. Would it be easier for you to light up the cavern if you were up closer to the ceiling?
Possibly.
Bree, would you be so kind? Yes.
I tuck in my cape and
somebody-
adjust my hat.
Somebody has Flyboy? Who's got
I do.
Flyboy? You literally can fly.
I can fly. Okay. All right.
Apparently, she can make him fly too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's.
I'll catch you on the way down,
You have to
Tony.
catch
I
him.
trust you completely.
So are you gonna chuck him into the air? Sure.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's happening.
As this is happening, so we have some info as to where they are, and as to, I guess, how the wind is moving off of them. Can I act as a spotter for my sister after the flare goes off with my look over there?
Sure. Yeah, I'm imagining that they're giving you beta on what they're seeing, and you're trying to track them down.
Trying to kind of find a clean path for
And she's
Zig to get
racing
a
off
shot.
at speed.
Yes.
I'd like to actually build off of that. I think up until the moment came, there was that tension in the air. Except for me, who was tirelessly chatting, probably to Tonio, about our strategy in the future. And then, boom, the gunshot happens and silence. I am just gone.
Okay.
Can I use my which way did she...
Shot the flare?
The gunshot that started the round.
Right.
Can I use which way did she go to simply disengage and find higher ground?
Absolutely.
Nice.
So there's no play needed for that yet.
Perfect.
But we're building up to this collective play, and that's part of the way the game works. You don't make the play until you've kind of brought the
Everybody
situation to
Gotcha.
like a tipping point, and then you say, okay, now it's time for the play. Let's come
Right.
on.
So we have blinding light. How do we take
Essentially,
advantage of it?
That's what you want to go
Right.
with. So you're going to launch a big blinding flare.
I'll give you guys a signal. You'll know what it is.
What he's setting me up for is the ability to take a shot. Yes. So I'm trying to find a position which I can maybe build off of using your light.
And how about you guys? What do you want to contribute to this effort?
Bree is tossing Tony.
Breeze tossing.
Keep your eyes open to catch it, and then spot while you're blinded.
Oh, that's
So we're in a cavern?
cool.
Like that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Pretty high ceiling cavern, and it's somewhat irregular. Most of it's been excavated, but some of it's got some natural features.
Are these caverns we would live in, or
No, these caverns riddle the highlands. This region is used by the Academy for a variety excuse me, a variety of things. You don't live here, but there are classrooms down here. There are storage places. There's weapons ranges. There's this big exercise space, like exercise cavern that you're in now, or for conducting exercises.
Because we already have somebody going super fast, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Eyes Like a Hawk to keep an eye on him to play defense. Because I'm also fast, so perfect.
So I'm imagining the whole crew is moving forward together. Some of you are like running blocker up ahead. Some of you are watching for people cutting in from the side. Eyes Like a Hawk. You were using.
I'm moving a bit off from the side just so that I can both see Zig and I can also see our targets.
Yeah, you wanted higher ground.
I'm trying to get a higher
when
ground.
you're feeling the wind. Got your eyes closed. You kind of hum.
Completely silent too.
Superman.
You guys see the pants and waiting for the launch.
I think I'm going to go with the like a knife in the back. So I'm going to point out who we should be taking out on the other teams.
Right.
Oh, nice.
So you're picking the soft spot where the stick. Okay. We're not literally.
I know.
Well.
Okay. So here's how collective plays work. Everybody gets to make a play.
Okay.
So you think about what you want to use, and it should be related to what you're doing. So in your case, strength. In your case, potential. You look for the cards that are appropriate to that thing. Then we negotiate stakes. A collective. It doesn't have to be the same stakes, but I think in this case it is. You all want to win. You all want to pass the exercise and be the winning boat crew, right? So that would be the stake for the player side of the table. Then we negotiate a stake for me, and then we make the play. And right now, you're all working together for the same thing. So it makes sense that you should have an advantage over your environment, over your competition, because you're all contributing. So as long as one of you can beat me, you succeed.
Oh.
Okay? Interesting. If I beat you, then whatever my consequences are come to play for the whole group. So let's negotiate those stakes.
Okay.
What do you want for the whole team? Obviously win.
To take down at least one other team.
They're high priority
When you
target.
say take out, you mean fill the infirmary? The only rules are you can't kill anybody.
Yes, fill the infirmary.
Okay, fill the infirmary.
Yeah.
Oh, it should be a named team too. It's like they've been the winners and we're the underdogs and like
Yeah.
So you guys end up with a cool nickname.
Yeah.
Yes.
Follows you, and actually this is part of the setting. So the idea is in the academy, your boat crew starts out as part of a cohort and whittles down to your table group.
Okay.
So that you have a good reason for always being together because you trained through the academy together. That's sort of the idea.
Gotcha.
But during that training and hopefully during the flashback, you develop a reputation.
Yeah.
And that reputation develops a nickname, and that nickname follows you out into services at night. So when they say it's Roland's Raiders, holy shit.
Yeah.
Right? So this will be the moment, since this is a one-shot, this will be the moment when you guys earn your nickname, if you succeed.
If we
fail, do we get a sarcastic
If you
nickname?
fail, I get to take the nickname.
Oh no.
So, you succeed, put a bunch of them in the infirmary, you get to pick your nickname. What else? This is a big collective play.
I want to pants the biggest bully jerk off on the enemy team.
So when the lights come back
Humiliation.
on, the lights come back on, not only is it pants down, he doesn't have any pants.
Humiliate
I want to draw the resulting scene in my notebook. All right.
Yes.
Anything else? Now remember, the more you want out of a scene, out of a
higher the
resolution,
stakes.
the higher the stakes.
Oh yeah. Let's
So if
drive
you
them
don't
up.
like the
though.
stakes are too high, we can negotiate back down.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So are we feeling right now? This feels 3-cardish to me because it's a big deal and you're all involved, right? If you guys can't, as a group, take on a 3-card challenge, there's
That's
trouble,
sad. Yeah.
right?
Does Bree or Wink want anything or Willard? Walid?
I'm much too quiet.
Total domination of the enemy is fine with me.
Bragging rights. You want the next round,
Yes.
which is a period of clocks. Clocks is there's no sun, there's no stars, there's no there's a whole section on navigating and time telling that's unique to the setting because those things don't exist.
So like good morning isn't like a term you say to people.
It's not a term. There is, I forget what they are next. I just wrote that section up and now I forget. But I designed a whole special clock and a whole way of talking about parts of the clock without referring to night or day or sun or whatever.
How many clocks would be in their equivalent of a day?
A clock is essentially a day. The clock is broken up into bells, and the bells are about 5 hours.
Oh, I love that. That's charming.
And that varies from culture to culture. The culture of Verdant and the guild runs on bells.
Okay.
So, my consequences are, of course, you're not going to succeed.
Yeah.
It's going to be that kind where you almost succeeded, but it still looked bad and ridiculous. So you knew how close you came, but nobody else does.
A stinging defeat.
I'm going to say half of you will do a luck card draw to see who ends up in the infirmary.
Okay.
Oh boy.
And there is a 1-card cash against you guys, a challenge cash.
For our embarrassment?
No, for any time during this session where assaulting a fortification is part of the story.
Oh, that might not happen. Who knows?
It's only called holding down the fort.
Hold it down.
Actually, I'm not sure. Did you even see the little intro to the game? All right. Does that sound pretty good to everybody?
Yeah, I like it.
Sounds good.
It is very tough. I'll tell you right now, it's very tough for me to win these stakes.
Okay.
Because there's all of you guys playing against me. However, the Joker, and it's important that you know this now because you may have one in your hand, the Joker is always an automatic win.
Oh.
You can play it for any play.
Even for you?
If it's in your hand, for me too.
So what happens if 2 jokers go down?
Then we
By the
do
difference?
the rules for ties.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
But it's interesting because they both have to. It's a little different with Jokers because we have to construct the outcome that even if it's not literally we're both succeeding, the spirit of the stakes have to be success for both sides.
So my skill says it's a spade, so I have to play a spade.
You have to play spades and you can only play 1 card.
What if I don't have a spade? How does that work?
Then you need to be manipulating the circumstances for you or the description of what you're going to do to play to the strength of your hand. Today you're just not feeling it today. You just don't have the energy or you just can't think of a good idea. So you're like, this is very good. So really you should be always thinking about what's in your hand and how you can apply that to an ability that you can then use in the situation.
Can I use my Knight's Cash to redraw?
If you want to, yep.
Yeah.
Now remember, even with a bad card, you can use some caches and crowning to bring your score up pretty high.
Okay.
Well, okay, I'm going to give the ball away. Can I use my king? Because it is a combat strategy, even though I only have a spade?
Yep.
Okay. Then
Now, it has to be the king of spades.
Oh, so I can't use the king of
No, it has to be in the right suit. It always has to be in the right suit.
Oh, I have to redraw.
The only time it's suit independent is if you're throwing in a cash card. Right. The cash card is drawn at random, or a crowning card also drawn at random. Okay, so everybody should get their hand. It should be the number of cards that they have in their hand in that suit for the thing that they're using for what they described, their contribution to the battle.
The cash, narratively, what do you have to do to comply to meet that requirement?
If you can convince me that it applies in this situation, you can use it. Now, your lineage cache, your ancestral cache, that relates to your potential. Everyone inherits their ability with different potentials from their ancestors.
Okay.
So if you are Torrent, for example, that means you are a rain user. And so you get 1 card cash that you can use to boost your magic at some point in the game. One of you has an X in that spot. That's because you happen to have an affinity that doesn't match your lineage. Okay?
Interesting.
Just made it a little more interesting character, I thought. So it sucks for you because you don't have that little bonus cash, but it's a nice role-playing hook.
I guess to describe the scenario a little bit more, what I was hoping to do was, when this whole thing went off, climb up somewhere high and use my like a bullet to the head skill and my spark ancestry to charge my incredibly long rifle like a railgun and fire it at the enemies that you managed to locate. But that would require coordination of everybody because
That's a great idea. I forgot to tell you something. Every character has a relic.
Yes.
It's a device or an object or a weapon or a tool, something that you may have inherited from a family member or another knight, but more likely the guild said, you're really good at this thing.
Yeah.
This object is really good at helping people that are good at that thing. It's yours to use in your duties as a knight. Okay. You make those up during character generation.
Okay.
Each of you has a unique one. I can tell you what the details are if you want to use it. But right now you're only in training. You haven't been given your
I don't have it yet. Okay.
So you can't use your knight's cash because you don't have your knight's played yet.
This is a flashback.
In the flashback.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So we'll have to breathe
well,
through
I can't
that.
use the cash.
No, that's different.
Okay.
You're giving that up for the rest of the session.
Yeah.
To redraw your hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do I have an equivalently long rifle to be firing from? or-
I'm pretty sure as open to injury as the academy is, they're probably not going to give people firearms in this exercise.
Okay.
But you could throw rocks or something.
I will throw a vicious
Or a
rock.
slingshot, or I don't know.
A slingshot, yeah.
Yeah.
You can also get up close and use the flash to see their formation, and I can telepathically guide you with your strikes.
Okay.
Now, I purposefully didn't tell you this because it just adds a little bit more complexity than we need for this many people first time around. But when you flash back, there's different points in the history of your training that you can flash back to, and it affects the amount of cards you get to have in your hand.
Okay.
Because you're not trained yet
Right,
some things, right? So it reduces the amount of cards you have. But for this exercise, we'll just play.
Excellent. Excellent.
So here's how we'll do the collective play. Imagine that this is all going on. You're all contributing in the ways you described. It's the battle room. Things have gone nuts. The gun went off. You're all running forward. You hear shouts and yells. Other potential is going off. You see more flames over there. You hear wind howling. You hear the ground actually change shape as Earth moves something into some kind of big obstacle. There's all kinds of potential being launched around you. People are yelling and screaming, and you hear blows being struck, and you can hear a couple of swords coming together. So it's this massive flashing chaos. Now, if this were a movie, the camera would be following all of this. And whoever wins whoever has the highest score, that's who the camera sort of focuses on. So you're all doing your thing, and you're all contributing to the victory, but that person sort of carries the essential element of this
scene.
attack.
Okay.
Or this encounter. Sorry? I think you had a question.
I did not, sorry.
All right, so everyone ready to make their plays?
Yes.
Oh man.
Oh, I'd like to try to do a cash thing. So, through the narrative, when as soon as the buzzer goes off and everybody starts rushing forward, my guy starts just doing a very slow, very calm stride, and as stuff flies past us, explosions, wind, everything, my guy just kind of sways with the wind and just remains calm and focused. And then I'm gonna try to go for faith or spiritual calm. So spiritual calm in me.
So you're zenning your way through.
So I zen my way through it, and as soon as I get really close to somebody, and all you do is you see three guys standing there like beating up on other people, and then me showing up behind them just attacking them.
Those
Literally being the knife in the back.
Those culture caches are unique to the different cultures from which each of you come.
Yeah.
Those specifically aren't made up. Those are come from which character you get to play.
Okay.
So I've got my 3 cards.
I got my 3.
I got my
As
one.
do I.
Do I get my culture? So I get an extra card?
Yeah, you will get, if you want to play a cache, you'll add it just normally. Anybody else want to do a cache? That
Is
was
that
great.
from your hand?
It's
or-
from the play deck, random.
Oh, from the play deck. Okay.
Crowning and caching.
Once, right?
Yeah, you would mark it off and you get it back next session. If it's an 8-1, if it's a story one, you may get a number of them, but you lose them and then they're gone.
Okay, can I do personal survival?
You can, but it would come from this. Remember, this is just a flashback. You may want to keep some of these for later in the game.
Okay.
All right, so here's mine.
Okay.
Everybody ready? We'll do a tense, dramatic reveal. Uno, dos, tres.
Haha.
All right.
And I crown. This is a trick. I have a jack.
I think absolutely Jax would crown in this case.
Yeah.
Me too. Everyone's trying to play be nefarious with everyone.
I crown with
As
an ace.
well, yes.
You're going to automatically
I
crown with
crown
an
as
ace.
well with an ace.
So draw your random card, add it in. I've got 11, 21, 24. Looks like I'm going to get beat here.
So king, strategy, and combat.
Absolutely.
And then my narrative.
Okay, so you got 22 going there. So you drew 3
I
cards.
roller.
I drew 2.
Oh, you played those.
I
Okay, you
drew
crowned.
1 because of the crown,
Got it,
and
got
then
it.
1 because
so you're
of the
at
narrative.
32. Anybody higher
Holy
than
crap.
32?
No.
No way. That's all you, man.
And flew me in the air, and I look to the heavens. What's
got-
name?
got-
It's Tony.
You got 20, 26? Is that what you're playing? No, sorry, that's you. What?
Oh, this is me. Does this count towards it, even though it's
You
not?
only crown once. You can only cash once per play, and even if you draw a high card.
Okay. I also wanted to cash as like kind of a narrative thing because I wanted to catch Tonio.
So
I'm still an
Which one are
adept.
you using?
I'm going to use Gale. I'm still an adept. I'm not fully trained yet. I launch up to catch Tonio. but I missed a little
You
bit.
can only use the cash if what you're doing is magical. So is this your supernatural? I can't remember what you were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I hit Tonio. We might, fly into a nearby stalactite and, not land safely. So,
Nemo, my angel in the heavens.
yeah, bam! So I want to throw out a blast of wind to sort of stabilize us.
So this is one of those dramatic moments where that's a super slow-mo and this electric arc is just being fired out of your hands as you're just gracefully flying through the air, and then the music goes as you go flying by.
Exactly.
Out of the sky.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And what's your total? Holy crap. Okay,
yeah.
so 36.
Dang.
All right,
I
so
rolled
that
it
is a big gap over what I have. So this is a incredible success. You guys blow past all of the other boat crews, and when the lights come back on, the smoke clears, and the injured are helped to the infirmary, you guys are standing in the fortress with a bunch of people limping away in all directions. And you got your bragging rights.
I'm imagining you're just sitting there, like already with like a drink.
But the hero of the day, you were about to get taken out by some clever stone user. You could see this big fist of stone coming down from the ceiling, and now it's frozen in place because as it was reaching for you, he whips through the air, grabs you out of the way. You light up the whole arena, blinding everybody, and you make your mad dash. So you've all contributed. It's just that your moment carried the day. All right?
Yay!
Excellent.
Yay.
Important question. Did we pants the enemy team?
Oh, of course. That was one of the stakes.
Yes!
And if the stakes are stated, once the stakes happen, they happen, right? There's no kind of what can I do to stop
Mitigate,
that stake,
yeah.
right? It's already happened. The narrative's moving on.
Okay.
Okay.
So
we
you
draw
can-
back up to 6 after playing.
unless you spent potential.
I spent the time.
Because this is a flashback, and now we are coming, we're sucking back to modern. Then you can bring everything up to speed. But if you spent potential and we're just moving ahead in the story, if not enough time passes, you don't draw that up. You get one card. Yes, you get one card per bell, essentially, of recharge.
Okay.
So you're kind of grappling with him. He's right now.
What do the elemental suits do? Are they? Is that just like for?
It's for reference,
Okay.
right? So if you look at the physical abilities you have, or some of the mental abilities you have, they kind of fall in those places. When you're making your character, you get to create these like fates aspects.
Okay.
So you try and create them thematically to fit within those things, right?
Right.
If you want to be an arc user, throwing lightning or fire, that would also be a character who could potentially be physically fast and very clever. If you want to be compassionate and have healing powers, then you're probably going to want to be a rain user, right? Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Any questions about how that scene resolved?
No, I like that quite a lot. That was very.
That was really great.
I think Tonio and Nemo make a good team.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was about to say. I think that's the time we
And
coined
most
our club.
importantly, you avoided the challenge cache for when you maybe assault a fortress.
Yeah. And we made the Tonio toss technique, which
Tonio
is
toss.
very important for our team.
Okay, so our team obviously has a playbook.
Yeah.
Tonio toss is in
Tonio
there.
toss is number one.
The first play
By
we
the
ever
time you graduate, it's got a lot more entries.
Yes. Oh yes. That could be our flashbacks.
All right, so
Every flashback
Every
is in.
play.
that would be perfect if this was a campaign.
Oh wow, I love that.
So I'm writing a stretch goal campaign that it spans a big part of sort of the setting and the goals for the game, but all the flashbacks are structured to recreate your entire experience in the academy. We're playtesting that now, so hopefully it'll work out.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
So, a couple of clocks go by, and now we'll do signs of distress. As you break through a white band of cumulus, the outlooks hail the deck, reporting a large cloud garden off the starboard bow. As you draw abreast, a second hail calls your attention to what appears to be a ship's mast, lashed vertically to the upper branches of a tree-like growth and sticking up into the sky. A tattered ensign on the improvised flagpole flaps fitfully in the breeze. You realize, perhaps without surprise, the small pennant is inverted, the universal sign for a ship in distress. So a cloud garden is a bunch of potential plants that have an inherent buoyancy, and it's basically a cluster of vegetation thicket that just drifts through the air. They come in clusters on the eddies of the wind. They catch rain and absorb light. The dust and such provides nutrients, a lot of epiphytic kind of plants. But there's no solid ground. It's just like a floating jungle. This one's huge. It's one of the biggest you've ever seen.
Okay.
And they're poking up out of one end of it. It's kind of shaped like a big stretched out peanut, I guess.
Okay.
But sticking out of one end is this little broken mass, and there's a pennant just
Are they like tangled in floating seaweed or like that kind of thing?
Well, it doesn't look like it's tangling. It's deliberately sticking straight up.
Okay.
And the flag is flapping in the breeze. Like I said, it's an inverted pennant. A very inverted band.
I'm suspicious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would that be?
Can I use my ability? I read about it in a book once. To say that I've heard of people using this tactic before. Specifically, there was a history book. One Lieutenant Grimfire used it to trick his rival into attempting a rescue. His rival was very noble and fell for the tactic.
That is a true story.
Yes.
But you're reading it in a book will also tell you that most sailors hope that if they're ever in distress, other sailors will come to their aid.
It's true.
And it's more common for this to be a genuine call for help than it is for a tactic, especially in you've moved out of Verdant and into the nation of Horizon, and it's a fairly peaceable place. I mean, there's some pirates and there's bandits, but in
It's
terms
probably a law somewhere that we have to.
well, it is a matter of
honor.
Yeah, well, it's not just that, but it's like the equivalent of maritime law. It's the law
So we
of the
got
sky.
it. All right.
You don't have to. You certainly don't need to approach it blindly.
Okay.
But I will tell you for free, if you know this from your book, the crew will not be happy if you leave some potential sailors.
All right.
And I won't be happy, which is more important.
Can you use eyes like a hawk to get a better?
Absolutely. So, you're looking over at it. It's clear that someone has intentionally tied a broken spar to the top of this tree-like growth. They've lashed it with some line. The flag is a little bit tattered and maybe a little bit faded, but it is clearly inverted. It does look to have some of the symbology associated with the the trading fleet of Horizon. And you can even see that some of the vegetation around its base has been cut away so that it stands up clear and tall above the surrounding growth.
I share this information with all of you.
Okay. Let's see.
So if I use an ability, do I discard the card?
No, unless it's supernatural. That wasn't.
We should go to their aid. They need our help.
We should send someone ahead to look, and then the rest of the ship could go.
Okay.
The narrative heard at any distance.
Well, here's the thing about the glass whistle. If someone touches it, and then goes somewhere else, and you blow it, they can hear it no matter how far away they are.
Got it. Okay.
Right?
Never mind.
So it's a signaling device of supernatural ability.
Oh.
In a world where there is no wireless communication, it's very, very valuable.
Very useful. So I suggest we send a party ahead. Do we have like smaller ships attached to this vessel that we could use as like a
You have
scout?
a launch.
A launch? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
you
we should
have
send
a
some people
launch
ahead.
that'll hold about 12 people. But I'm just so I'm pointing things out. I think someone has a spyglass.
I do.
Someone has a rifle with this crazy scope that lets them see through the dark and through the haze and through the clouds.
Okay.
Somebody's a teleporter.
I wonder.
Yeah, just send me over there.
Yeah. Wait.
By the way, to get
I don't want to fly
We've
right
already
now.
proven that people can be thrown a great distance.
Yes.
Oh, don't cut yourself so shortly.
Okay. Here, you have a whistle that they can hear no matter how far away they are, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can we send? Can you teleport other people too?
Just roll your strength again, stand up and
Sure.
Take me along. I can talk to him anywhere. I can talk to me
We
anywhere.
can be the away team.
Yeah.
Yay.
I'll keep an eye on you guys.
And I'll be the radio.
You go too, and let me touch your whistle. I'll stay here with my spyglass.
Why?
So if he takes the whistle, if you stay here,
Yeah.
all you're gonna hear is
Yeah.
So you have
That's
to
like
come up with like a
a
little
danger.
code.
Yeah.
like
Once
two
again,
tweets is a danger. One
Very
tweet
simple. I'm about yay tall,
Okay.
and I'm the medic. And why am I going?
Right. Because if they get hurt, then you can help them. We're safe back here.
That's the point. I'm safe back here.
Well, but they might get hurt.
You can fly him over or something.
You have the,
All right.
the Wonder
All right.
Twins that can talk to each other.
Oh,
from
true.
long
I'm with
ways away.
I'm with Kier on this one. If danger
also
happens,
teenage girls with no adult supervision.
I was like looking over the railing. Gotta help them.
So, I will stay here and
God, you guys do this every time. Let's go. I grab him and I grab her.
Oh gosh.
And I teleport.
Can I
You spend a card randomly from your potential.
You can use your spyglass to keep an eye on everything. Let me know if you see any. Not on me. On the ship. Over there.
I guess I let out a disappointed sigh as I'm teleported over, as I frequently trip and fall, and Kira's the one who fixes me up.
Okay. So you find yourselves in the vegetation, kind of hanging from the branches.
Did you get teleported?
Yeah, he picked me up.
No.
And I look very solemn.
Oh yeah, I'm extremely happy. Kira, we're together again.
So
I hold up my hand for a high five.
It's just the three of you there?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
So you guys
I did not bring the healer.
Oh, you
Okay,
did.
I thought you did, because I was going to go for it. Yeah.
Then I am sad.
Alright,
Let me know if you see anything so I can tell
You
Zach.
see them appear, and they're all like hanging in the trees. There's that. You're used to it. You love it, actually. It's a great feeling. The rest of you, it depends on your individual proclivities whether you like it or not, but there's this like stomach lurching roller coaster style sort of like thing that happens. And you realize that like you better hold on to that tree branch because you don't know what's below you kind of thing as you suddenly just appear there.
I just below you death.
You see him up here hanging there in the tree. You look down and it seems like a little bit like Swiss Family Robinson, right? You see this ship, or at least the stern of a ship, that is plunged into the garden and hung up in the vegetation. Not a large vessel, but about the size of the one you're in. It looks like its keel is broken, and so it's not like it's been sailing anywhere. Obviously, the reason they didn't get out of here. But that's about all you can see from your vantage point.
Can I ask one question now that you're over there? Why didn't we send any of the guards with them?
Just asking.
Who's strong?
All you have now are sailors.
Yeah.
You haven't picked up your liegemen yet.
Oh, okay. I thought we had.
You're on your way to cliffside to pick them up.
I thought we had like half a dozen liegemen with us.
Yeah. Well, they're all liegemen. Your crew, the sailors are liegemen, but they're crew for the ship.
They're actually running the ship.
But there are some guys. They're all trained. They can go with you if you want them to.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering why we just sent.
But any knight is a match for any 20 liegemen. I mean, it's really.
They're cannon fodder.
Yeah, they're there to steer the boat or
Gotcha.
carry the equipment.
I think we have a capable team over there. We've got Wallen, Wink,
And we have some backup ready to go if
So
necessary.
those of you that are actually on,
I always get you mixed up.
on the garden, where are you going? What are you doing?
You've got it hooked in the chain. Now
You're looking down, you see the ship, you see, looks like there's kind of a dark shadow, like maybe another structure down amongst the branches.
Can I tell Zag? Zig?
I'm Zag.
I can't remember.
They can't either.
Yeah. Can you send your sister a message? Scout the ship, front to back, stay together. Just don't lose sight.
Yeah, I can absolutely do that.
Do that.
I relay all of that.
You already know
Yeah,
that.
I already know that. And I
Do I
relay
have to use
that.
cards for that, or is it?
It's not, actually, sorry, yes, it's it's telepathic twin, right?
Telepathic twin. Do I discard one randomly?
One card, yeah.
From your potential hand? Yes.
My potential hand.
Also convey that I too am very offended that you didn't remember which one of us was which.
Oh, I already took care of that. Don't worry.
You're already offended.
Alright, we will.
I'm offended for both of us.
When are you not offended?
Never not. We share that.
I'm never not offended.
So,
She's not
in order to comply with the thing that I was just shared with by the girl, I attach my Arcano electric rope to the tree, and then let her repel down.
All right, that rope is about this long until you give it a little bit of jolt with your potential, and it can extend to 100 feet.
Nice.
It can wrap around anything you want. It can snake and do things that you want to, so you can easily repel down.
Okay, I guess I will do that.
Nice.
So that's your relic.
Random discard?
No, you shouldn't have to with the relic because it's
Okay.
just
Okay, so the
it's its
relic.
own thing. It's an additional ability that you get.
Okay.
So you explore the ship, and you're super fast.
Oh yeah, I'm running around and
Takes
checking
no time.
everything out.
The ship has been mostly scavenged of things that you think people trying to survive in an island might need. But it takes you no time at all relative to if the rest. Knowing that the ship is almost vertical, you've got to kind of make walls floors, and floors ceiling, floors walls. But you can still explore it very quickly.
Oh yeah, God. Dumpon, can I argue that gravity never gets a good girl down, and I can navigate the ship out well?
Absolutely. Yeah, you have no trouble monkey barring around inside the place.
My brother has to tolerate lots of, ooh, what's this? And ooh, what's this?
Are you hanging out on the tree branch, keeping an eye out, or are you actually going to go down into the vegetation?
I'm just doing spotting right now.
I'll go down in the vegetation.
All right. As you climb your way down, you realize that dark shape you saw is sort of a Swiss Family Robinson house. It looks like they took planks and hatch covers and furniture and other things to build a kind of a more comfortable habitation. You can see signs of there's like a fire pit in an old cook pot. There's, but it seems like, given the amount of vegetation that's grown back and kind of the weathering the wood, and the fact that the sailcloth roof is torn, that it looks like it hasn't been occupied for a while.
Okay.
Those of you back on the ship, you hear a deep rumbling echo.
So, like, animal in nature. I quickly flip through my scholar's tome, attempting to find something that describes what I just heard.
All right, I think you need to be able to discard a face card from your play hand. Is that right?
Let's see. Draw a face card. And wait, okay, so...
Say draw or...
It says draw.
Oh, yeah, so pull a card, and if it's a face card...
Nope.
You like
couldn't find anything.
And you don't find what it is you're looking for. It's a magical book that actually accesses every other book in existence.
Okay, but it's every other book in existence.
Yeah, so you're like, oh, yeah.
It definitely sounds animal in nature and not technical.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
In fact, on the other side of the highland, you see breaking through the cloud wall this giant shadow that resolves into a behemoth. Okay. It's a giant creature, probably 2 or 3 times the length of your ship.
Great.
These stubby little fin-like wings. It's drifting slowly towards the cloud island because you know from your training as knights, that's what they eat.
Oh.
You see several more break out from the cloud behind it.
Several more.
And the whole herd is moving towards the island. They're starting at the far end, and they're not moving with any kind of aggression.
Okay.
Yeah, they are giant skyways.
Are the people on the island able to see them and where they're coming from?
I can't see them now because they're down inside
in the ship.
I'm yelling,
but they've probably heard.
Excuse me.
Yes, I see them. I see them. Bree, help the sailors get the ship ready. Antonio, rally the sailors.
As a point of reference,
Oh, sorry.
now, hurry.
Yeah, okay.
Now, big, scary. I don't want to die.
They're hungry.
None of us want to die. I'm going to immediately tell them, I'm discarding a random card here, immediately going to tell them the sky whales are coming, from which direction, how many of them there are, and I'm going to tell them to come back, because it looks very dangerous.
Yeah, so they start taking big chunks out of the far end. They're like,
You've got to wait for half a second.
chewing on the island.
2001.
Okay.
You guys get that message. What do you want to do?
I get the message. I get the message exploring the ship and immediately run over, full panic to Wink and grab him, start shaking him lightly, conveying at least half of this. You're getting some telepathic panic from me, also.
Yeah, I'm going to sit down and try and calm
I'm
myself.
swinging around on the rigging, getting everybody in shape. It's like, come on, our friends are on there.
I don't like
Fine, we'll teleport back.
The sailors are following your orders with all due alacrity. The sails are being set, and the ship is veering back towards the island in an attempt to position for pickup. So you're running over, shaking him, screaming in his face, telling him.
Please teleport us back. There's one.
You guys are down, you were exploring the little sort of tree house, so you're down there. You're maybe 50 feet above
Don't
them.
forget Wallet.
I see Zig freaking out, so I assume it's time to go. So I slide down and.
All right, so you're about to slide down when suddenly you feel the whole island heave, and this echoing roar come from below. And you can see where, from your vantage point above on the ship, the island just start to buckle on the end where the ship is, as something is pushing its way up through the vegetation. And you realize a big bull is plunging his way through the highland, through the cloud garden.
Feasting. Okay.
Have you ever seen whales actually do? They call it
Yeah, the
bubble
breach.
breach.
Yeah.
It's kind of the exact same scene, right? Maybe,
Right.
But more akin to probably.
Except they're the
sandworm-
plankton.
More akin to a sandworm in Dune coming out. It's really
Like hyperventilating.
So you feel the ship and the treehouse you're standing on just start to give and twist, and all the boards start snapping. You feel that you're holding on to the branch as the tree starts to pitch. The ship below suddenly starts to rise as clearly the behemoth mouth has glommed onto the bow of the derelict ship and is trying to swallow the whole thing. So you guys are being pushed up towards the surface of the cloud island in one big mouthful.
Oh boy.
So it's time to make a play.
Yes.
So the three of you have to decide. We're going to do something a little differently, just to give you another feature of the game.
Okay.
We'll do one of you as the primary, and the others, if possible, can assist. So if someone has a good set of cards and a good attribute they want to use to get you out of this situation,
Yes.
speak up and we'll structure a play around it.
Wink, I think we're counting on you to get us
I have an
out of
idea for
this.
the ship, but what if one of you would like
The
to?
ship,
Hey,
the
we
ship
should
is
teleport
safe.
across the
Okay,
planet.
the ship
The
is
ship
safe.
is out of the way.
All right.
But it's
So-
the three guys on the island that are like riding up on this,
Gotcha.
this bow wave of mouthful.
This is the away party's play.
Right.
Yes.
So one of the three of you can be the primary. So who's got an attribute they want to use and a good hand to use it for? Because right now this is feeling like a 2-card play that may go to a 3-card play if you want some different circumstances.
I could probably the best I can possibly do is grab us and maybe sprint us together, sprint up to the tree and set us up for a good situation to teleport. But I really think this is our time to just teleport out. I don't have much.
Do you have Wallet with you though?
Yeah.
You do?
You'll notice, not yet. He hadn't started climbing down yet.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly. So we gotta meet.
But the way the game works, you could make like a multiple leap teleport.
Yeah.
Bloop, bloop, if you were successful, right? There's a couple of things that, just for the sake of understanding how the system works, because everything is 1, 2, or 3 cards on your part and 1, 2, and 3 cards on my part, you can't break the system.
Okay.
You can be as elaborate and crazy as you want. You can say, I blow up the world. But you can only do it at 3 cards.
Yeah.
And I can say I poke you with a hat pin, but I could still do it at 3 cards, right? And so the game is innately balanced. You can't break it. So it's really up to you to describe how crazy you want the scene to be. If you want to teleport 20 times to accomplish it, that can be part of the play.
I don't like you guys at all.
Now, his action of getting us out of there doesn't necessarily have to be the primary source of it. So
It doesn't. So
From a,
one of you be the
from a
primary.
narrative standpoint, I see that the girls are the Zig. Zig is freaking out.
Thank you for keeping track of it.
Yeah. And that the teleport's like, I told you guys not to make me come over here. What are you guys doing?
They're actually arguing about in the midst of the mouthful.
I agree, and I am tired of their BS this time, and so I try to intimidate the shit out of them by being an intimidator.
Get up here and get us the hell out of here.
Oh, that'd be really good.
Now.
Okay, so we're gonna say you're the lead because you're taking charge.
Yep.
All right. You guys can help, and here's how you help. You look at your abilities, and if there's something you can do like teleport or move really fast or whatever, and you have a 2 or a 3 in that suit, you can play that as a help card. But only a 2 or a 3.
Okay.
It's a balancing mechanism, right? It allows you to help without overpowering the play, and it makes 2 or 3s useful cards other than just placeholders in your
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
If you can do something fast, I
If
can
you
be
can
the
convince me in a way that
That way you just have to focus on
Savage
going.
beast.
Yes.
I can use
I
one
want
of
to
my
calm the
things
beast.
That makes
to be the target.
Okay, that works.
I have a 3 that I can use
so
on that.
potential.
Yeah.
You'll have to spend a potential card.
Yeah, and it has to be a 2 or a 3.
It has to be a 2 or a 3.
Okay. And since it doesn't have a suit, I can use any.
It does have a suit. It has. It has to be from your potential hand,
From my potential game.
which is your potential hand is.
Will always be of the right suit. It's
Oh,
close, yeah.
Hearts.
Yeah, so
Okay,
you can
I
always
don't have
play
a 2
from
or
hearts.
3.
Okay, so what our idea was is that he's gonna go so fast that he's gonna get us over there. I'm gonna steer him
Yeah.
like I'm
Like a mount?
I'm gonna use no matter where you go, there you are.
Okay.
I'm gonna have
I would also
and we're gonna catch it. We're gonna slingshot over.
I would also like to add in my own two because I have a potential for shocking behavior, and I would say that I was immediately shocked by your intimidation.
So here's how we're gonna do this. Well, we negotiate the stakes. You tell me what you want out of this.
All of us to get over there and to make it look good.
Still a 2-card play. I don't feel like that's a 3-card play yet.
Maybe we could transport some of the random things we found on the ship.
Well, find a survivor on the way out.
Wait, hold on. How many cards are you playing?
2.
Okay, maybe we don't go that hard in the paint because we're only adding at most 6.
Good point.
So maybe we just survive this one.
Cash? Or you want cash or a crown?
No, I'm good with what I got.
You don't tell me beforehand about crowning because then that will make me play harder cards. But you have to tell me about cashes.
Nope, not gonna cash.
Okay.
I like your suggestion.
Let's keep it
You're
simple
probably
then.
right.
If you don't make it, one of you is going to get left behind, and as the behemoth bursts through the vegetation, you'll still be riding on it. And then we'll see what happens after that.
Okay.
Okay? Alright, I'm going to play my 2 cards. And I'm going to use, I have 3 kinds of caches. I get a plot cache, a setting cache, and an opposition cache. And depending on the number of players, I get variable numbers of those. With this many players, I actually get 3 of each.
Boy.
But if you look at your sheets, you've each got 4, plus the ones you're earning. That's a lot of caches around the table. Alright, so these are old cards. Here's mine. You guys ready?
Yep.
So you guys would contribute to his play.
Yes.
So you got a jack. Convince me that you can crown with a jack.
I do not believe, based off the lists there, unless, of course, I can deceive these two that by listening to me, they're going to survive.
I hope that's not a deception.
So, nope, I'm going to go with, nope, I'm good.
Okay, so you get the 2 and the 3, so you get a 5 to that.
And didn't care how
Oh yeah,
the
you
beast.
I didn't get to do
Oh, you didn't have a 2.
I don't have a 3. I have a 4.
Okay.
Can I help him with the jack?
No.
Okay.
Unless you're contributing, like, the only person that
Only
can
people
crown
that are-
and cash is the primary.
Well, I was going to help
Okay.
him give an idea how you can.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not deceiving them. You're deceiving the whales.
Oh. You're deceiving yourself.
The
Yeah.
whale doesn't know you're there.
The whale probably doesn't speak English.
Alternatively,
Okay. That's
So
fine.
I'm-
I'll give it to you.
alternatively, you're robbing the whale of his meal.
So I'm doing a couple of things. I told you I was going to play a setting cache, right? This is setting. So that's, sorry. But I played an ace, which always crowns.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Can you crown again?
Only once.
Okay.
Yeah, only once.
I was going to say, because that one crowns.
But only once.
Yeah.
1 cash, 1 crown, that's it.
Oh, jiggity
So
boy.
yeah, I'm at 34 against a 29 plus 5, 24. So I'm 10 higher.
Now I would like to use my trickery to tell them, go for it, guys, save yourselves and I'll be fine. Because I'm pretty sure that's a trick.
We already established that.
I
So
tell
here's
them
how we're going to figure out who. There's something called a luck draw. If you don't want to arbitrarily decide something, everyone just pulls a card off the
Okay.
top of their deck. High card if it's a good thing, low card if it's a bad thing, right? So I've got a 7. I'm sorry, actually in this case it doesn't matter. I don't have to draw. You guys draw. You guys draw.
I think
whale
Wink
ends
is
up in zones.
our mechanism of getting back, so it's between me and Wallet which one
Well, you
gets
don't get to
go.
choose. This is random. Like it just happens.
Exactly, but I
see what you mean.
We
Like,
can't
he's
use
grabbing
the
the
one
ball.
that's
He's the one who's
back,
getting
so
the
he's
ball.
safe.
Excellent point.
It's
You're going
between
you
us,
two.
yeah.
Which one gets left behind?
Yeah. Jack.
Jack. 2. Guess what?
Hallelujah.
You're like, get moving, get up here, get your shit together, get.
And then they leave.
So suddenly they appear back on the ship. Poof, they're standing there. You're like 1, 2.
Where's Wallet?
Yeah, I
And
jump up and
you
I'm like,
see the
oh.
whale. The island breaks apart. The garden shreds into pieces. and you see him clinging to his electric rope, hanging off the side. It's got
He's lassoed the whale.
It's got a mouthful of vegetation. His rope is still hooked to that vegetation. He's dangling from the rope, slapping against the side of the whale like.
How come he gets to surf and we don't?
Oh no!
That's what happens when you volunteer.
All right, so I think we need to make another play.
I think so. Okay, I have. So, are these kind of like compels in the fate system or anything?
No, you get to use them as caches.
Okay,
but
so
only in those circumstances.
I want to use bold recklessness to cash. Saying we should steer the ship beside the Hemoth to try and catch Walid as he's.
Okay, well in that case, what you would do is you would play, if you have skymanship,
Yes, I do.
So you grab the helm from the helmsman, steer the ship over, but because you have bold recklessness as a trait, you can cash that play because it was bold and reckless.
Yes, I would love to just
That's how
grab the steering wheel from the helmsman.
But that's a one-card play, so you gotta make sure your cash is good.
Okay.
Sorry, you gotta make sure your hand is good to support that.
No, it's not. But I want to do it still.
You can.
Because I'm bold and
There's
reckless.
no reason not to.
Okay.
In fact, you will discover playing this game a lot. There are times where the story will be better if you actually fail.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, so you'll play some crappy cards to get some good cards.
Yeah. I imagine there's going to be a lot of wind resistance and I'm fighting it, and though I am a warrior scholar, I'm not the strongest. Can I get Bree to assist me in like spinning the wheel
Yeah,
as I
anybody
direct?
can always assist if
Yes.
there's a way to justify it.
Okay, does that suitably justify it?
I am going to use Soothe the Beast this time.
Do you have a 2 or 3?
I thought this was a group.
No, we should do well. It doesn't matter how you do it. I was hoping just one person could be the primary on the play, and so other people could help, and then we could be done.
Yeah,
Could you help like
a 3? Yeah, if in the right suit for something you can justify.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to steer the ship up beside the Hemoth on the side that Walid's at, with Breeze to help like.
So you're using
fighting the
Skirmiship?
Yes, and I'm
don't
going
play yet.
Uh-oh.
You don't want me to see the cards until...
It's too late.
Right. So you got your card, you're going to play a cash, bold recklessness.
Now, can you
Are you going to be able to help him out?
Sure.
Oh, do you have a 2 or a 3 for your strength?
A 2
or for skymanship?
Yeah.
Can you only assist with potential, or can you assist with
You can assist with anything that you can justify.
Do you have any of these with
The limitation is what cards you can use. You used to have different mechanics for helping, and it took a long time to arrive at this balance between overpowering and still giving you some value.
What 2 do you have?
So how would you like to help him?
So what do I have to help? Just 2s?
Yeah,
You have to have a 2 or a 3 in the suit for the thing that you're going to help with.
So I'm going to have to do...
So if you're going to help with skymanship, you need clubs. If you're going to help with your strength, Gentle Giant, you'd have to have, is that spades?
I believe it's a spade.
So yeah, he's got it. Yeah, I've got a 2 of clubs.
Okay,
Awesome.
So you can contribute that to his play.
I would like to contribute. So as you are driving us closer to the whale, Tonio grabs the rigging and like arrow flings on the side of the ship. So we're hanging off of the rope to try and catch you using No Stopping Me Now. My friend's in danger.
Nice.
Oh, that's so good.
All right.
I decide they're taking too long, so I start doing a swinging back and forth. I'm going to stop at nothing to get to the ship.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a one shot, I'll give you that. I think it's a 2-card play. What do you want the consequences to be? Obviously, you save him.
One of us is grievously injured.
Okay. You save him, but we'll do a luck draw to see who.
Yeah.
And that person I'll show you how the injury mechanics work.
Yes.
We'll take a serious wound.
Okay.
That will probably be from either me or you because like
you're
we're
on
off
the
of the boat.
Yeah.
So how are you helping?
I've grabbed a rope and cut it from the rigging, and I'm like swinging.
You're swinging out, and you're swinging back, and you're trying to grab like this, okay, and you're driving the
Yes.
ship over. Perfect. So you got that scene in your head, right? Like
Yes.
you're all contributing to this thing, even though you're the featured player here. Okay,
So now we play.
I've got my hand.
Okay.
My play. I've got 17.
And then I
8,
am cashing
so
bold
you-
recklessness.
Okay.
So. Oh!
There you go. So you've already won, but you get your plus and your plus
And your plus.
Yeah. So you give yourself quite a margin.
Yeah.
Nobody gets hurt.
Yes.
other than maybe a little bit of pride.
That's okay.
No, it looked good.
Yeah, it did look good.
You swing out.
It's like a ballet.
It's a crazy action scene, right? Like everybody just jumps into action. You grab the wheel and start spinning it over. You're forcing the wheel against the wind. The ship pitches dramatically. Everyone shouts and grabs hold of something. You shout with I don't know, glee. It almost seems like chop the line free and swing out as the ship turns. You see him coming. You swing out on your own rope, and there's that moment where you're reaching out for each other's hand, and we make the play and grab hold, swing back. You disconnect your rope because it's automatic.
Yep.
It retracts to your hand. You swing back onto the deck. You both go tumbling across the planks. Come back up and ship pulls away as the whale just chews on its mouthful.
Could, as we tumble onto the ship, we tumble into chairs and perfectly align.
Oh, sure. You make it look good.
I think at least Tonio managed that.
Well, actually, that would be a way to raise the difficulty level.
Okay.
Right?
So that did not happen. Maybe.
So in the negotiations, you can always do that.
Okay.
You have guidelines on how to up and down the.
Okay.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Save that for later.
Yeah. The crew's already impressed with Tonio.
But you guys did have a pretty big gap too, and that can represent doing it with flash and.
Okay. Maybe we get applause.
Yeah, you have thoroughly impressed the crew.
Nice.
They not sure how they ended up in the mouth of the whale, but you just pulled someone out of the mouth of the whale, and no one's sweating. So
exactly.
This entire time, I'm going to be taking notes.
Is the first mate impressed?
She's writing a book. Your eyebrow cocks a little bit.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
I'm going to take notes on these sky whales, their general shape and speed.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
All right, it's good to keep track of the herds. They are navigational issues. It's not actually happening.
You have obsessive note taking.
I do have obsessive note-taking.
Perhaps you could connect with the first mate.
Maybe.
She seems to be writing all the time.
Okay, so it is 7:30. Are you guys? I was kind of thinking the full meal deal, like 3 to 4 hours. Is that good for you guys?
If we could take a quick break, I want to
Oh,
run to the
absolutely.
restroom.
But I was going to say I can modularize it and shorten it if you guys have things to do, or we can just keep going with all the bits and pieces.
I'm good until I'm called away.
Okay,
Cool.
So, you want a break now, or you want to go through the scene and have a break? Or?
I'd like to take a quick break.
Let's do it.
I agree.
I'm going to pause the recording.
Probably tell Carl that we're not